Well, you certainly know how to compliment a woman. Well, if you'll excuse me.
Do you know who I am?
No, I can't say that I do.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Really?
People know me.
Well, I'm very happy for you.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Kizzy's Friday Game Changers, taking your business to the next level.
Coming up on Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
Because when you're feeling really good, you are, doing well, what impact is that having on those people around you?
Hi, this is Ray Zinn.
Hi, I'm Jamie Martin from Ideal Shopping Direct.
I'm Kate Bell, founder of Zip Us In.
Hi, my name is Eirik Eide Patterson. I'm a co-founder of Seaborg Technologies.
Hi, I'm Katie Farrell, transformation coach, founder of the Catalyst for Life.
Hey everybody, I'm David Frangioni, CEO and co-founder of All Access IDA Inspire Develop Artists, and you're listening to Kizzy's Friday Game Changer. Check it out.
Welcome to Kizzy's Friday Game Changers
with your host Kizzy Nkwocha,
a show for innovators and motivators, people just like you.
Kizzy is a publisher of Business Game Changer magazine, editor of the successful Woman in Business book series and the best-selling Every Entrepreneur's Guide series. Every week, Kizzy and his guests provide you with the tools you need to take your game-changing business to the next level.
Listen, learn and innovate.
Now meet your host, your mentor and your fellow game changer, Kizzy Nkwocha.
Hello and welcome to Kizzy's Friday Game Changers. My guest this week is Helen Corsi-Cadmore, an award-winning game-changing business growth coach and consultant who helps business people just like you set up, grow and develop successful enterprises in an easy, simplistic way. In just a few minutes, I'll be talking to Helen Corsi-Cadmore to explore her secrets of game-changing business success. Listen, learn and innovate.
Hi, this is Colin Smith, corporate and commercial partner with Blazer Mills Law, and you're listening to Kizzy's Friday Game Changer, the world's #1 podcast experience.
Welcome to the show. This week I'm in conversation with business coach and consultant Helen Corsi-Cadmore. Now, Helen's 25 years experience spans retail, consumer products, property, online, charity, and now she's supporting game-changing business people like you to make money while allowing yourself to find purpose, joy, and fulfillment. Amen to that. Helen, it's amazing to have you join me.
Oh, thank you so much. It's brilliant to be here. Thank you, Kizzy.
I have been looking forward to this chat for such a long time. I've been looking at your CV; is just incredible. You established yourself growing a retail brand, a fairly well-known retail brand, into a multi-million-pound enterprise. You opened a total of 9 stores across 5 years, and you built a team of over 200 people. When you started, you turned over 1.2 million, and when you left, you were turning over 6 million. Not bad. And then you thought you'd dedicate your time to helping business owners make money while finding purpose and joy in their careers. Yeah. Helen, what caused you to choose such a changing career?
Oh gosh, it's so interesting. And when people always read that back, sort of what I started there in that retail brand, it does make me smile a lot, because we often forget that what we've done or what we've achieved. We often sort of reflect on what we haven't done and not what we have done. But the change of career. So that brand, I loved it. Absolutely loved having working in that brand. But we had an exit plan. We had a 5-year sort of strategy, and it was just time. It was time to leave and time to hand back our shares to our Danish partners and sort of move on. And And at that time, when I was exiting that business, it was a strange time. I've got to be honest. If anyone listening has ever exited a business before, you feel it's a trauma, because you feel like that you've worked so hard on something, and then it's all of a sudden gone, and you think, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? And in all honesty, I took some time out. I didn't really know what I wanted to do next, but I knew my passion, as you mentioned there, was helping other people. And that's what I do now. I help other people in their business, either starting a business or growing their business. I do have some conversations about exiting, but it's not something that I really enjoy. And I just want to make sure that anyone that's in their own business enjoys it, because what is the point in having or being this entrepreneur or this game changer in business if you're not actually enjoying it? And I actually recorded a Instagram live this morning, actually, and just said, write down the 5 things that you really enjoy about your business. And if you struggle to write down 5 things, then you've got to ask yourself, are you doing the right thing? So I guess that's what I'm doing now. And I'm working with, I'm a real action taker. I love doing things. And I love working with people who are really ready to sort of step up and really, do the things that are going to make them progress, both personally and professionally as well. And I do think that, I'm sure we'll go on to this, you might want to ask me the question, but I do think everything starts with you. So you've got to be purposeful. You've got to have that want in yourself, and you've got to look after yourself in order for your business to grow, and have that ripple effect. Because when you're feeling really good, you are, doing well, what impact is that having on those people around you? They will pick up on the joy and the love of your business with you.
I like the idea, the love and joy of your business. I'm wondering to myself now, is this a way of you doing something that you thought might have benefited you when you first started out in business? Because when we first start out, the idea of talking to a coach or consultant is pretty alien to most of us. Do you think it would have been of a benefit to you?
Oh, absolutely. And in all honesty, I had nobody that would have been that support. And that's also, you're right, that's one of the reasons that I offer my support, my services, my coaching, my advice, my honest advice as well, is because I didn't have it. And I think having those people around you who will support you, be those cheerleaders, will give you that boost, but will also be really honest with you and say to you, this isn't going to work. Be real, because, having a business, you have to be a realist as well. I completely agree with that. I didn't have it myself. And in all honesty, I wish I did, because I would have done things very differently, very, very differently to what I would do now.
Yeah, I hear you. I think if what's that saying? If I knew then what I know now, then things could have been so different. But on the other hand, if you hadn't have gone through what you went through then, you probably wouldn't be the person you are today, would you?
Oh, exactly. And I think that's true, in business and in life. And before we started recording, I mentioned that I've been on a huge fertility journey to get my twins, who were 3.5 years old now, and all of those stages that I've gone through that has also made me the person I am now. And I think that's, you can take all of that into business, into your personal life, into your family life. I think in order to really feel those feelings, you have to have gone through them yourself. And that's why I think it's really important for me to be able to say to people, look, I have got the knowledge, I have got the experience that I can support you, because I've got that lived experience. I've been there. And that saying, I've been there, I've done it, but I have. And, I would have loved to have that I call it, the people that are really going to pick you up when you're feeling like you just want to give up. Because in business, you do. You just think, right, how many hats can I keep wearing here? How many hours can I keep working into the night? How can I keep doing this all on my own? And you need those people around you, those mentors, those, just a sounding board. It could be that you join a community on a social media channel, or you just, you have a text or a WhatsApp conversation with somebody, just somebody who's there that can actually be there for you. It's having somebody that you can connect with, I think is really important.
Interesting you say that, because I think that one of the biggest, or probably one of the most common challenges that I think I've come across in the times I've spoken to people, and it's a challenge that people don't really think about when you start off, is how lonely it is when you're trying to get a business up and running.
Yes, it is. It is so lonely. And it's really interesting. I don't know if I can say the brand. Can I say the brand that I used to own? Well, I'm going to say it. You can edit
say it, so you can slip me a $5 and we'll just keep repeating it.
Well, I don't own it anymore. But when I did own Tiger, it was called Tiger Stores, and it's now Flying Tiger. That was different. I had a business partner then, and like you said, I had a big team around me, but head office and a lot of team around me. So I didn't really sort of feel alone as such. Selling that business and now starting this business from scratch, oh my goodness, I felt more alone than I ever have. Because you're building even though I've still got, lots of connections and community from the previous business, being sort of more online now, and I wasn't in an online space then. The business that I had was bricks and mortar. The online space to me was completely different. Didn't really know anything about it. So starting sort of from scratch again was really lonely. And I didn't want to go back to being on my own. So I made sure that I found people that I felt that I could trust, really important for me. And who were going to listen to me and give me that sound advice. But you're right, I think starting out, actually, do you know what, there's a bit of a caveat there, not just starting out. At any point in your business, you can feel really lonely. And it could be if you're going through, a growth stage in your business, that you need somebody else or you need other people in your life. So you've got to remember that there are people out there that can help you. And this is one of the reasons I undertook such a big qualification for me. I didn't want to be seen as that coach that had just bought a £7 course online and then labeled himself as a coach or consultant. I actually did the research. Yes, I've got the lived experience, but I also wanted to sort of back that up with having the accreditation, the qualifications, to enable that sort of certified, accredited qualifications for my clients. I thought that was really important.
Yeah, it is. It is very, very important. But during your work as a coach, is it your job to provide people with answers, or are you the person who encourages them to find their own answers?
Oh God, yeah, it's definitely. A coach is somebody that will ask you the questions so you can find the answers yourself. And it's making sure that you ask the right questions and get them to really think themselves. I also do some mentoring and consultants, and they're very different. So they can sort of cross over. But yeah, a good coach is somebody that really asks the right questions. Because ultimately, you've got to think for yourself. And my business ideas might be very different to yours. So I want you to come to the conclusions that are right for your business and your brand and your values and your personality. So it's all about asking the right questions. So, yeah.
I like that. So I'm going to make a note here. So we're not telling people what to think. We're just we're helping them with how to think rather than what to think. Is that, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. That's it. That's definitely it. It's enabling them to really think for themselves. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, if there's a question that they've specifically asked, then I will give them my answer, or I'll give them my advice. I don't just ask questions and questions and questions. I do sometimes give the answer, but ultimately it's about you finding out what's going to work for you. Yeah. And sometimes it's there in front of you, and you just need somebody to ask a question in a different way. And then you're like, oh yeah, all right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I know what it is now. Yeah, I love it. I love it because often you see clients they just have that, that light bulb moment. They're like, yeah, I get it now. I get it. Yeah. So I love it. I love being a coach.
I just love listening to you talking about it. I think the enthusiasm you
emanating. I am.
I'm enthusiastic, and I'm not entirely sure I understand all of what you do, but it sounds really pretty amazing. I've got a note here that says you're a certified hypnotherapist. Now, is this something that you might use during a coaching session?
It can be, yes. So, yes, I did train and qualify as a hypnotherapist, and a lot of people, and I'm laughing because so many people to this day still think hypnosis is, going on the stage and acting like a crazy chicken or a stupid monkey, or, making silly noises. And it's not. Like, hypnotherapy is such a wonderful, relaxing way of really getting into your unconscious mind and helping you to get rid of any sort of limiting beliefs that you've got. Some the typical ones I come across is I'm not good enough, or I've got no confidence. So it's brilliant. I absolutely love it. And it will depend on the client. But if there is an opportunity for me to help them in a slightly different way, in a more sort of relaxing way, then absolutely. If there's an opportunity for me to do some hypnotherapy, I will take it, because it's one of my favorite services, actually, and I probably don't do enough of it. My last client that I had doing hypnotherapy was actually to get rid of fear of flying. And this is the truth here now. She texted me not long before we started recording. She was going to Italy with her friends, and they arrived yesterday. And she said, I want the whole text, but basically in a nutshell, it was great and everything was fine. So that just makes me really smile that I've been able to help people in that way.
It's amazing. I don't know whether what you're doing is actually a genre in itself, because I've got this thing about, organizing my thoughts when I'm listening, so I can just kind of pick. And I just got you now as a holistic business development coach. Now, the word holistic for me means it's not just about the bottom line and the numbers, but it's about the person and the way they feel about themselves and their business.
Yeah, most definitely. It is. And I think the holistic side of things, some people just really don't get it. They just think it can all be a bit woo. They're just not really into it. But as I said earlier, I think it does all start with you, and that your business is you. I don't care what anyone says, you've created your business. So the brand is you. So how are you showing up every day? Are you getting the right amount of sleep? Are you eating well? Are you looking after yourself? Are you taking breaks? So many of my clients do not take a break in the day. And I was like, how are you even functioning? You're just staring potentially at a screen, or you're just doing the do all the time. And, society, and we're very fortunate to have all this accessibility, on tap. And I do really like it. But I think we've just forgotten that there is another way of doing things, and it doesn't have to be so on the go or demanding all the time. You could still have a successful business if you decide to go to a yoga class at 10 o'clock or at lunchtime or whatever that is. I think we've often forgot the boundaries that are in place. We've let our sort of what I would call non-negotiables slip. So for me, every single day, without fail, on my working days, obviously the days I do have my children, but I make sure I've got time for me, and that could be a 30-minute walk on my own. It could be an hour yoga. It could just be sitting down and having a nice hot cup of coffee, whatever it is. But I do something for me every single day. Because I do believe, like I said earlier, that ripple effect, if I'm feeling good, that will have an impact on how I show up in my business and for my clients.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I remember years and years ago, obviously you're too young to remember this, so you're going to have to take my word for it. Back in the, thank you very much.
I'm actually not that young, as anyone listen. I'm 42. I'll take it, but yeah.
42? God, I don't believe it. God, blimey, Gov. Another note, get on with it. Okay, all right. I remember back in the 80s and maybe even the 90s, it was accepted business practice that you worked, all the hours God gave you. You skipped lunch. You took your phone with you to bed just in case something important happened. But things seem to have changed a hell of a lot. And I think maybe even after the pandemic, that change has become more pronounced. Is that just my imagination?
No, I completely agree with you. Even prior to my tiger business, I'm talking, when did I really start work? When I was
4 o'clock.
Well, yeah, I wish. No, I guess taking it back to my parents are greengrocers in Cardiff. That's where I was brought up on. And my dad used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to work. And some days he used to take me on the weekend, which was joyful, as you could imagine, not. But I just remember, they worked. My parents worked 6 days a week. Sometimes, yes, my mum didn't start work at 4, but my dad worked from 4. And then, he'd be working all day as well on the greengrocers. So I think it was very much instilled in us. So you had to work really long hours to be really successful. And I think it's definitely, as you mentioned there, like the pandemic has changed a lot. For the good and the bad, in lots of different ways. But I do believe now that, especially with the hybrid working, a lot more businesses are being more realistic and focusing on their employees' health and well-being. There's still a lot to be done. But I do think because of the pandemic as well, the employees and business owners are a little bit more aware of what they can do in the time that they've got. Yeah.
Love it. We're getting more enlightened. I think we can all relate to that, Helen. Let's hold that thought and take a break. I'll come back to you in just a few. We're going to take a music break and continue our conversation in about 5 minutes. This week's boss star is Stephanie M. Casey. Oh, Stephanie, I love this woman so much. She is the CEO of Lovage Inc. Now, Lovage is a creative agency based in Dallas, Texas, offering Wix website development and design, custom branding, and creative collateral and related marketing strategy. Now, when Stephanie isn't helping game-changing business leaders make, mold, and mobilize public opinion, Stephanie is a hugely talented musician. Here she is, performing They Come Out Singing. Have a listen to this.
Get in touch with Kizzy's Friday Game Changers by emailing fridaygamechangers@email.com and follow us on Twitter by searching for Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
I'm Rupert Rickson, founder of Perspective Pictures, and I've been trying to change the game for 8,760 days. That's why I listen to Kizzy's Friday Game Changer.
The world famous Game Changers Show, Game Changers Show, Game Changers Show.
Welcome back. Before the break, you're listening to Stephanie M. Casey, CEO of Lovage Inc., performing They Come Out Singing. And I'm in the studio talking to game-changing business coach and consultant Helen Corsi-Cadmore. Now, Helen, you were featured in the book, The Successful Coach Handbook, and in it, you were asked a question you answered so eloquently, I had to write it down and put it on my wall. Now, and the question you were asked is, what advice would you give to aspiring business coaches on building a strong personal brand and reputation in the industry? And you said 2 words, be you. Helen, why is it so important?
Oh, because I think, well, no, I know there's so many people out there doing the same things as you. And I think we get lost in all the noise. There's so much noise in the world at the moment. And we've got to be really, really true to ourselves and be really authentic. And I do believe that, you know, they reflect you as a person. So if you start following what everyone else is doing, you lose you lose your spark, because you often think of what you should be doing is really important and not what you want to be doing. And there's something I always say about avoid the should and follow your want, because when we start seeing all these shiny objects that other people are doing, we kind of go off track. You know, you're on this 100-meter sprint already. You're doing all the things for your business. And then you see something over there that somebody's doing and you go, oh, I'm going to go off and do that. All right. Okay. So now you're back to 10 in the race. You know, you want to be at the front because it's your race. It's your lane. So let's stay in it yourself. And I think, you know, like I said, you've created your business for a reason. And we can often lose ourselves to other people. And I think if we don't believe in what we are doing, then, you know, kind of not what's the point, but what you've got to go back to your why and think, why have you really started your own business? So I think it's finding your own way, being true to yourself, being authentic, and remembering there's enough room for everybody in this crazy world that we live in. And one of my sort of analogies I say is, if you think of a supermarket or wherever you go shopping if you eat bread, there's so many loaves of bread in that bread aisle. We don't all choose the same bread. They all get sold just to different people. So we just need to make sure that we remember there is room for everybody, and just make sure that you're being yourself at all times.
What a powerful analogy. I love that vision of loads of... No, I love it. That's a great idea.
I love food. So there's something always relating to food in my life or my stories.
Oh, good for you. I think that makes a lot of sense. Doesn't all of that come back to the idea of having confidence in yourself? Because believing in yourself is not something that comes naturally to everybody.
No, it definitely doesn't. And you might be quite surprised to hear this, that I'm actually quite a shy person.
Who laughed?
I know you laughed
when you
right?
said that.
Yeah, I am. I'm what we call introvert extrovert, because confidence doesn't come naturally to me. I was super shy. I'm just to tell your audience, I'm 6 foot tall, right? So I'm tall. My dad was even bigger. My dad was 6'6", and I was always kind of in my own shell because I was tall and I stood out, and I didn't want to stand out. I wanted to be this shy person. So I didn't always have confidence. And if I'm on my own, or if I'm in a room where I'm not talking about something I'm really passionate about, I'll be the one stood at the back. I'll be the one just taking it all in. I won't be the one that goes up to people and starts talking. But when I'm really passionate and I love helping people, and I do love speaking, but it's only when I'm really passionate about something. So I think confidence is one of these things that people believe they have to have it. And you don't have to have confidence. You have to just believe in what you're selling or what you're talking about. I think that's really important to remember. Yeah.
That's such a weird thing because, obviously we've only just met today, and I've known about you for quite a while, but we've just met today. And if somebody had asked me, what would you make of Helen? I would have said that she was really outgoing and she's really good with people and a social extrovert and all that sort. But you're saying none of that's true.
No, none of that's true. And that's the thing. I get such good feedback, and it's people really relate to me and people love my energy. But actually, I am quite shy. I don't know if shy is probably the right word now. I'm just a little bit more of an introvert than people think that I am. But yeah, if like I said, I would talk about food all day long. I would talk about, helping people all day long. But anything to do with, science and politics, you've lost me. You will not find my energy.
Wow, that's amazing. Caught me completely by surprise. Interesting. Very. Let's have some fun. Let's play a game.
Okay.
The game I've got in mind is something we call past, present, and future. Now, don't be alarmed. It is really, really harmless, honestly. All we're going to do is drill. We're going to drill deep inside your head.
Okay. Let's do it. See what we can find.
Good, doesn't it? We're going to drill, figuratively speaking, and we want to get into your head to uncover the mind of game changer Helen Corsi-Cadmore.
Yeah.
Now, will you submit to the program?
Yes, I'd be delighted. I do, and this is the thing. I love games. I love quizzes, anything like that. So yeah, definitely in. Let's do it.
Fantastic. We're going to have so much fun. Well, look, I want you to relax. I want you to just close your eyes and imagine you've got a clock ticking in the background. Now, that's the sound of time passing by second after second. Now, imagine yourself traveling back in time to meet the young Helen Corsi-Cadmore. Well, just Helen, I guess, because she's not married. Yeah. And she's just starting out on her game-changing business journey. Now, I like Helen because Helen likes to ask questions. She asks you for 2 pieces of advice. Helen wants you to tell her one thing she must always make sure she does in business, and one thing she must always make sure she never does in business. What would you tell her?
Okay. The first thing I would say you must do is rest. Rest, because as a business owner, we don't rest. We wear all the hats all the time. We do a lot. So I would say take that time just to rest. And that doesn't mean sitting down, scrolling on your phone. That is not resting. So have that balance in order to avoid that burnout. So absolutely, my advice would be to rest. And the thing to avoid, and I've mentioned it earlier, is to follow others, because you have to do what you want to do in your business. This is why you've created a business. So avoid following others and do what you want to do.
Wow, as you're talking, I'm just nodding my head and saying, I get that so much. I really do. The idea of resting, I think I'm probably more guilty than the average person. I don't know if you know, I own the Business Game Changer magazine, the Property Investor, Money and Finance, the UK newspaper, the Sussex newspaper for some reason.
So what do you do to really have that balance then, Kizzy? Because that is a lot going on there.
You should talk to my wife because I remember a year or so ago, she said, you got to relax. And I said, okay, I'm going to relax. I'm going to take a couple of days off. And you know what? I'd actually forgotten what I did when I wasn't working. Literally forgot.
Yeah. It's so easy to do. You forget what brings you joy.
Sad, isn't it?
It is. I find it really sad. And one of the things I talk to my clients about is write down 20 things that make you smile, and they really struggle with it because they forget. It's when they do it, they start thinking about their business, and I'm like, no, not anything to do with your business. Things that really make you smile. And they're like, oh wow, okay. And then when they start to write and they really think, they're like, oh yeah, that's what I could do. That's a habit that I've lost. Let's bring that habit back in. Let's go and play, I don't know, basketball with my mates, or let's go to a live gig, or let's just sit down and read a book, or, just the small things, not actually big things. Yeah, I find it really sad that we've kind of somehow forgotten the things that make you smile or bring you joy.
I agree completely. Okay, that's the past taken care of. Let's go into the present. Let's go hand in hand into the present. In the present, who motivates you? Do you have a role model?
Okay. Role models are, I don't really like the word role model because I feel that we have to model ourselves on them. But who I take inspiration from, there's two people I take inspiration from. And this may sound a bit soppy, but one of those is my husband, because he is the most amazing person. He is very, very horizontal in lots of ways, but he does inspire me every single day. And the other person is my coach. So I also have a coach, which people might find a bit odd. But I take inspiration from them because they are, I mentioned it earlier about, they are my cheerleader. They are my support network. And they remind me to limit those negative surroundings or people. So yeah, my role models then, or my inspirations, are my husband and my coach.
Fantastic. I think that's just the perfect answer. The person closest to you and the person who knows you better than you do as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a present. In the future, let's go 100 years from now, because you've got so much energy. You're still going to be around in 90 years. So let's go 100 years.
Okay.
When people are talking about you, how would you like to be remembered?
Oh, gosh. That's such a brilliant question. How would I like to be remembered? Wow. Okay. I would love to be remembered for bringing people joy in their lives so they can remember who they are. I think that's it. I think, I want to bring joy and energy into people's lives so they can remember who they are and also have that joy.
Well,
I think if that's a rubbish answer, isn't it, really?
Look, if that's your ambition, I think you've cracked it. I think you've cracked it already. You're going to have to get another one because you do that every single minute of the day.
Okay. How would I be remembered? I'd just be remembered for being, for being me. Do you know what? I'm really struggling to answer that. I don't think anyone's actually asked me that.
I like it. You want to be remembered for being you.
Yeah. Just for being me and for being honest. And I think also, I think for being honest in my life, because, I'm talking, you're saying I've got lots of energy, but there's been times where I haven't had all this energy and I've been, in not such a great place. So I think being an honest person and a good friend, and then all the soppy things that come with that. I'm really struggling to answer this, aren't I?
No, you answered it perfectly. Perfectly.
Think of that.
No, that's a great answer. It's a genuine, heartfelt answer. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay. I've got a message saying we've gone way over the half hour we were going to have for this show.
We have, just see the time.
We've got to do this again, really, really soon.
Okay, I'd love to. Absolutely love to. Thank you so much. It's been really great. I've really enjoyed it.
The pleasure's been all mine. It's been an amazing experience getting to spend some time with you on Kizzy's Friday Game Changers. And I've got to say, thank you so much for sharing your insight and your wisdom.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Well, the time I've spent with the amazing Helen has made me realise that you never know who you are unless you shed who you pretend to be. And if you've been listening to Helen for the past half an hour or so, you've probably worked out, like I have, that if you're true to yourself, you might not have all the friends in the world, but you'll be more at peace with yourself. And that's a really strong and secure place to be. This is a lesson that game changers like Helen Corsi-Cadmore are teaching us every day. Listen, learn, and innovate. Playing us out is Stephanie M. Casey, and this track's called Dreaming Things. See you next week. Get in touch with Kizzy's Friday Game Changers by emailing fridaygamechangers@email.com and follow us on Twitter by searching for Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
Hi, I'm Johnny Combe, CEO of Pay-by-Phone UK, and my Friday would not be complete without Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
The world famous Game Changers Show, Game Changers Show, Game Changers Show.